Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. It is Sunday, February 28th, 2021. It is 8:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is for purposes of entertainment only, as in accordance with the law. There are fortune-telling laws. New York State has them. Technically, I don't need to use them because I am a reverend in the Spiritualist Church. So it's part of our practice to believe that you can connect with spirit, the divine, and pass along messages. But I do it to CYA, as they say, and you learn in medical charting, cover your ass, make sure you're charting everything you need to chart. I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. My friend Stanley is joining us tonight. One of my good friends from college sent me Stanley. So he went into the city on the train and saw Penn Station and Madison Square Garden. Took a picture with my bunny. I just thought it would be funny to have him on tonight. Whatever. It's the little things in life. And I sort of have it there to remind me. I have to put the letter together and all the pictures for him and send that off to her so that she can send it to school because it's due tomorrow. How is everyone? So I don't know. I've been working on manifesting and just like recognizing things that I've manifested in my life, good and bad, and working on kind of shifting things. I don't know how anybody else is doing. I got some really great feedback from people and finding out things that I've predicted have come true. So that's kind of always fun. A woman on here who's one of my subscribers and clients, some things that I've predicted for her have come true. So that's kind of pretty cool, big life-changing things. I do think I want to do another manifesting chat because I keep seeing things come up in these manifesting chat rooms or pages, whatever, groups. And I see so much insecurity about stuff, and it's just really interesting. And like, you have to do it this way, and remember, or this is more powerful than this. And remember that if you give something power, then it has power. So again, I hold this. It's become more of like a comfort thing. Like when it's in my hand, it's just like, I don't know, like a stress ball or something, but it's obviously hard. But if you give things power, then they have power, right? So across, where they, like, you see the what is that Exorcist movie, and the priest is always going, the power of Christ compels you. That's the holy water, and holding a cross and burning into their skin and things like that. Like those are, if you give them power and say these are powerful things, well, then they are. If you bless water and infuse water, then you have that belief system that you have infuse that blessing in water, then that water is blessed. I also kind of want to give the little message of whatever it is you're called to do or you feel compelled to do, whether it is, you see a lot of famous people, actors, or people who were entrepreneurs that built these amazing businesses, and they'll say, like, my family members like all thought I was nuts. Nobody really believed in me. My friends thought I was a joke, blah, blah, blah. And then, now that they're making bank, it's fine, and we support you. I have family members who think I'm nuts, like batshit crazy nuts. I'm on here because they don't understand what I do. It scares them, like they'll say, like, if it's real, I don't want to mess with it. And that's from somebody who I love and have a lot of respect for saying that to me. And that's okay. I want you to understand that doesn't make me feel bad about myself. A long time ago, it would have. And I would have tried to convince how I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. But I just want to say that it's okay for people to not support you. Even people that are family members, even people that are supposed to support you. They don't have to. You don't need that. You don't need their approval for the possibility of what you see in your life. I just hold space for and trust that you were given that vision, or you were given that drive to move in that direction for a reason, and you don't need other people to cheer you on or say that you can do it. If you know you can do it, you just move and go do it. And it is scary and it is hard, but don't take their opinion of whatever it is you're doing as credence or as somehow a validation or invalidation for who you are, because it means nothing. I see who people are. I see the misery. I see the struggle, and they are where they are. And who are they to say what I'm doing is one thing or another? Well, thank you, EF. I didn't do anything. I don't do anything special with my hair. I have curly hair. So it takes it does. I just, blow dryers just are not my friend. So I take a shower. I have to take a shower like a long time before the thing, or it's not going to dry and I'll look like a wet dog. I went to work looking like a wet dog a lot because I just did not wake up early enough for work to have dry hair. So I put it's like curling cream in it, and then it just dries, and that's it. And it's not expensive, because I found the expensive stuff. I use too much product in my hair for expensive stuff, and I just again, the practical person is I'm frugal in some cases, in other cases I'm not. So I'll spend where I think I need to spend and save where you can. I'm always about a bargain. All right, Allie, I'll check for you. And then Cindy, if you're on, that's fine. She sent an email and I just didn't get a chance to respond that was fine for the donation. You can be on. So if you would kindly, hello, how are you? If you would kindly add KK on, not KK, add yourself on the list, but add Cindy onto the list. Right before this, we started a new routine with my girls. I have the library app on my phone, and we check out a book every night, and we read a new book, and then we listen to spa music and relax. So I just didn't want the spa music to go off all of a sudden. So shall we start? Are y'all ready? Please like and subscribe, share me with people, share the link to this with people, tell people about me. That's how I don't advertise anywhere. So it's just what I do here, and then through private clients that tell other people about me. That's how I get clients. That's how people find out about me. That's how Stanley found out about me. Devery, I'll check. But that's how people find out about me. So like, subscribe, all that good stuff. How is everybody doing? I hope y'all are well. I hope everybody's hanging in there. Should we send some energy out tonight? Should we do that? Sorry. All right, Allie, I gotcha. So we'll also need to add in. Oh, hello, everybody. Okay, Emily, Eva, and it's Emily M, Eva, Devery, Ellen, Ryan, I gotcha. For one. I didn't get the other two. I got the one. And then Allie. So I'm going to add them to my list. Let me know if you think. So Emily M, Eva, Devery, Ellen R, and Allie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, let's get started because this takes a while, doesn't it? Hi, Miss Lumi. So, Starry Sky, you're up with 2 questions. Laura H, MEF, you also have 2 questions. Y'all are up first. Has everybody been doing well? Yes? No? Do you want energy? You want healing? Maybe I'll just stop in the middle and do a little quick blurb. A little zhuzh. Okay, so Starry Sky says, a 10-second video of my new Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards spread out. It had an etheric female voice in the background. The key's up to you. Anyone? Whoa. Who was this, and was this message from me? Let me see. and Comfort Rock. Do you have Comfort Rocks? Oh my God, wait, I have to say this really quick because I was thinking of my bunny. Oh, let me say this too at the very beginning. Next week, starting the first week, it'll be the first Sunday of March 7th, I'm changing times. KK and I discussed it, and 4 o'clock, we're going to be on at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So it's not too early in the day. Hopefully it won't cross over and cause any problems with y'all that are on the Pacific time. But I need to get sleep. I need to get rest. I've been actually missing the last like 3 or 4 Mondays for working out because I'm just too tired. And, you know, when you're tired, you're more at risk for injuries. And I'm 42 now. So, you know, those happen. So I don't want to, and I'm getting stronger and I want to keep up the work and I don't want to keep missing it. So I'm choosing to like still be able to do this, but just earlier in the day. And hopefully then my friends across the pond will not have to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Listen, I'm proud of my 42. When people are like, oh, you're 29 again, I'm like, fuck that. I have earned my 42. I like where I'm at 42. I like who I am at 42. I feel a lot better about myself. I'm in a lot better shape. The 20s were just like a mess trying to figure out who I was. So nah, I'm good with 42. And even like way more secure that like didn't happen for, you know, so I'm good with 42. And thank you for saying I look like I'm 25. It's a lot of heavy Botox. Kidding. No Botox. I drink water. I don't drink alcohol. Not really ever. I haven't had a drink in a very long time. Okay. So my bunny, my best friend came over with her son on Saturday. They're the first people that have met our bunny outside of our family. And I was so excited. I told him to come over around 4 o'clock in the afternoon because they're crepuscular animals, which means they're like deer. They're most active at dusk and dawn. So I didn't want him to come over any earlier because then she'd be like sleeping under the couch, not hiding, sleeping. But she was like all friendly and cute and sweet and sniffing them and coming up to them and hanging out. So, yeah. So I just was like, it's like when you take your children out in public, you just pray that they're going to be good and not disasters. Like I actually have a rule for my kids, which they sort of forgot at the beginning of the pandemic and they're getting better about it now, but where it's like, I will not take you out in public if you are not acting like a human. So if you're acting like a monster, you just don't get to come out in public, and that's okay. You don't have to be in your, you know, I don't expect my kids to always be in their best mood or happiest, but like also like, if you're not like, let's just not go out. It's cool. I don't care. We can do things whenever. That's how I am. Whatever. Okay. So, all right. Starry Sky wants to know, I want to try and read this again because it seems a little confusing to me. The keys up, is it like the key is, or the key is up to you, anyone? I just want to be really clear on that sentence because it's like, I think because of the oddness of it, it's like throwing me off. Allie, I saw your comment anyway. It didn't need to be retracted. I agree. The 20s were rough. Plus, like dating dudes that are in their 20s. I mean, I'm sure there's a few good ones. But it's like when everybody's like, I would be a cougar and date the fuck that. I don't want to date a 20-year-old. I have no interest in anybody that's younger, like at all. Like if I had to go into the dating world again, it would not be for somebody in their 20s. Like, no, sorry, no. Okay, so let me just read this again. I know this is weird for y'all to like sit there and let me read on it for a minute because I'm like, the key's up to you, anyone. The key's up to you. Can I ask this? What is this video like? Was somebody doing, I guess I want, like, because I'm trying to understand, was it sounds like that's what said to you. Okay. So had you asked a question, or had they, like, was this a pre-recorded thing, or had you asked a question and then drawn a cards? I'm just curious, because it's like, it feels like it's a sort of a general message, but it feels like there's a purpose for you bringing it here and sharing it here. When I read that, it feels like, had you asked a question, because I'm like, well, what was the question asked? And it feels like making the decision around something, or having the power around something. And they're sort of saying it's within everybody. You were showing the cards what it looked like. Okay. It just feels more like the power lies within everybody. Like, it's yours and it's anyone's. So it's not like one person is special or one person has this gift. Everyone has it. I think that's what's interesting, like, around, that's the feeling I get, is it's sort of like there's a reason you brought it here so that everyone can have that. So I feel like, I look in manifesting at somebody, I have a hard time when I respond to things, because I think if you have a different perception of the way something is, and sometimes you share that with someone, so this woman, sorry, this woman in this page had posted something about intentions. And I used to always, I've said it on here before, so I'm not saying that I never held this belief system, but it was about, like, it's a full moon, so you should write your intentions. And her intentions were written as I intend. And I said, hey, why don't you just say it as like I am? Because to me, it's like, oh, I intend to do this. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm not already doing it. And when they talk about manifesting, you're supposed to, as I am, as if I already have it, right? So, because everything already exists. And the other part of it is, like, if you think about Neville Goddard, the way he teaches about imagination, if your imagination is what creates all, when you imagine something, it's as if you're already there. Like, so good, bad, or ugly, right? So some people imagine that conversation of, like, I would have had that argument over and over and over again this way, or next time that person confronts me, it's going to happen this way, right? You imagine it as if you're already doing it, good, bad, or ugly. So intentions to me is when you say I intend to do something. So when I say I'm setting intentions, I'm saying I am this. This is going on. That's to me when I think of setting intentions. But if you write them out as I intend, to me it means I'm going to do this. So it hasn't already happened. 1. So I kind of said, hey, I would have said it this way. She was very nice about it. But it was funny because she said something about I intend to not take things so personally. And so I started to write something like, I almost didn't do this because I didn't want you to take it personally, but I knew that you're manifesting, so you're not going to take it personally. And at first she kind of did, and then when I said, like, hey, it was just a different perspective, it was really a nice, like, thing. But another woman then, like, said, these are more powerful. And I thought, well, if you believe they're more powerful, then they are. So if you believe that this is how it works, but it doesn't necessarily, just because you believe it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case, right? So my thought is like, let's do this the easiest way possible. Like, let's cut out as much of the bullshit and the like if you, again, it's like the ritualistic stuff. Sometimes I say, like, I always sit in this chair. Because my brain then subconsciously gets into the thing of, I'm already here. It's done. I don't need to do any, like, like, you'll see other people, like, I'm getting into the energy, I'm doing this. That's their ritual, because it sets their subconscious of already their brain moving into that brain wave of connecting into their intuition easier. I have the belief system that my intuition is on all the time. I'm connected in with my guides all the time. So whatever. And when I'm doing reads here to do, like, rapid stuff, I always do everything here. It is what it is. but I can do a reading anywhere. I don't really need to be here. I also know that too. But so what I'm saying is if you create a ritual and you say that it's powerful, then it is, but it also can lead to having a limiting belief system about something else. I don't know why I went into this ramble, but I felt like I needed to share it. So just put up your discerning and questioning mind when someone says, this is this, this is that, this is more powerful. It's a lot easier. Manifesting and spiritual stuff is way more practical and easy than anybody wants. Like they were like, what rocks are you wearing? What do we wear? What are we doing? You don't have to wear shit if you don't want to wear anything. Like I don't. And it's not because it's just because it's impractical. Like who's that dude that was on The Hills? Do y'all remember that MTV show that what's his name? Oh, some blonde curly hair dude. He married that Heidi girl who was just so darn cute. And then I don't know if it was insecurity or what got the best of her, but he's like way into crystals now. He did like Katie, is it Katie Couric? She went over to his house and had the hummingbirds, which was like incredible. But he like has all these crazy crystals, right? And it's like, wearing my crystal today, wearing my crystal earring. You don't have to do that. You don't need all that for protection. And my friend Tony is a big Anthony Pico. He's a big proponent of it. Like if you believe you're protected, then you are. That's it. You don't need to say all these like incantations and white. Like sometimes I tell people to do that, not because you have to. It's because it quiets the ego. It subdues the ego so that you can move through it and go to a higher place. Hey, yeah, you can. No problem. So that's what I think it is. I think it was sort of like you needing to hear that moment to share it, and then it was for everybody to sort of understand that the power is not within one specific person, that everybody has the ability to do this, that it's not like, oh, well, they can only do it because they have X, Y, and Z, because they're naturally talented or because they're super smart or because I even saw somebody post something about like and half the time I just look at them and I move on because there's a lot of people who are help seekers, help rejectors, right? So like, oh, help me figure out how to do better. And then like people tell them and then they're like, but I can't do that. Like the world is full of them. And I just don't have time for that. But so she wrote like, do you think that only beautiful or really attractive, whatever people can get their SPs, so their specific person? And usually most people have their specific person as somebody that they're trying to be romantically involved with. And a lot of times it's an ex. And like the regular average Joes can't. And I just thought, well, because no, but that's also about somebody's insecurity that they're writing that and how they feel. Like, just want to be like, are you listening? Do you read anything? But they just get so set that things are a certain way. Okay, so ego is your lower self. Ego is your earth grounded person. Ego is your fear-based, anxiety-based part of you, right? So that naysayer, that doubter, the Eeyore pants in your, in your body. So it's, so if you get this like beautiful, like whenever you get something from spirit and it's a real like psychic moment, it's always calm or it feels really good, right? So it's always calm. And then the doubter comes in, and that's your ego. The part that goes, well, but that can't happen because X, Y, and Z. That's your ego. When you're trying to manifest and you're trying to control the way it's going to happen, like, well, this won't, like, I want all of these things, but it has to happen in this order. And they're like, well, what if like we could do it in this order and it'll be bigger and better and it'll flow easier? And you're like, but it has to be. That's your ego trying to control everything. Okay. Starry, did you have another question? You're welcome, Allie. And then Laura and EF, you're up too. Are you guys going to be good with 4 o'clock or, doing this 4.5 hours earlier? I hope you are. Whoever makes it's going to make it, right? Right. We'll call it that. I tend to ramble a little, so I apologize. I just notice a lot of stuff and I sort of think your struggle could be a lot less, but I've been there. And that's like this woman was saying, I'm just starting. And I said, look, I started looking at and learning about law of attraction over 15 years ago. So, and it's been this journey. And even on here in the last couple of years, I'll say one thing and then I come back later and be like, well, I don't know if I really believe in that anymore. So awesome. Okay. So that's that. I'm glad that the time is going to work out for some of y'all. So and I guess if it doesn't, well, then maybe this is meant to end. I got to turn this down. I'm getting a little warm. So, I answered both questions. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Allie, for understanding. Laura H, any positive events coming my way? I'm ready for something good to happen. No, I'm kidding. There's something about 2 weeks, but I feel like, so this is your idea of positive events feels like an external thing happening. Like, I don't know, but to me, it actually feels like something very personal is going to happen in 2 weeks. And it actually feels like, cause I feel like, I feel kind of dizzy, but I don't feel like this is like oftentimes I'll go like, oh, it feels like you need to drink more water. This actually feels like I've been really working on opening up because I feel kind of almost disconnected and dizzy. And like my third eye is really starting to open up. I actually feel like something very spiritual is going to happen within the next 2 weeks. Like an intuitive event where you're going to kind of go, holy shit, I really do think that this is going on. This is happening for me. I'm connecting in and like, this really is real. It feels like something's going to happen and there's going to be validation along with it. So it's like, this is like a silly example, but when I was working as a travel nurse and I lived in Hell's Kitchen, like right by the Lincoln Tunnel, it's called Hudson Crossing. It might've been, there's a building, like an apartment building right there. And I was walking my dog. And at the time, it's a lot more built up now than it was when I was there. It's like nothing there. There was just like this big brick wall. And I saw this huge energy mass, like taller than the building. And it was almost like fall colors, but I don't know why it reminded me of the pattern of like a giraffe. It just like popped up and I was like, it was like felt almost palpable and my dog started barking at it. Now, a lot of us think like our animals are crazy, but I was like, oh my God, my dog was a little crazy, like for real. She was either a Yorkie or Silky Terrier. I found her when I lived in Austin. And somebody my sister knew found her and like nobody claimed her. So I kept her. And but she was like nuts. I probably would not want to ever own one of those dogs again. I loved her, but she was like high maintenance, high needs. And I really like that bunnies don't bark. Let me just be honest there. Like bunnies don't bark because I had a dog that barked a lot. Anyway, so she noticed it and I got really excited because to me, even though it wasn't a human validation, it was a validation that I was not crazy seeing what I was seeing. So it feels like something like that. Like I'm going to have this experience and I'm going to get the validation behind it. And then it's going to be like, I can't question anymore whether or not I'm crazy. That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like a very external event that happens, like winning, I don't know, but there is something around a purse as well, but it's not like I'm winning something or I'm going on a date or this big, whatever. It just feels like a very personal thing. Oh, Nicole, I'm super happy. And thank you for watching and supporting. I don't think I've ever seen you comment. Yay. I know Mary is on here sometimes and she lives in Ireland. I'm like, it's like way too late for you. go to bed. I couldn't stay awake. I like my fourth grader is now she's 10 and she's like, I want to stay up late. I'm like, you gotta go to bed earlier. This is too late for me. It's killing me. It's killing me. Um, does that make sense? That's great. Okay, good, Laura. EF, you're up for 2 questions. Matt Sievers, if you're here, you're up too. I'm gonna go ahead and check while you guys are typing and see. I think Hey said she wanted to. All right. So Shaheen for 2 questions. And Hey. And then let me see. I may leave just for 1 or 2 more questions open for 1 or 2 more people and then close the list. You're welcome, Laura. I've been thinking a lot about a former love interest and wonder why that might be. Do you want to give me a name? Do you mind a first name? I don't need a last name, just a first name. Hi, Mary, you're here. Did you get enough sleep before showing up? I don't know what's my phone is beeping. Hold on. Someone said, I keep missing your live. Did I miss it? Sorry to be rude. That's like texting at the dinner table, which on Sunday nights sometimes I'm doing because I'm trying to, get everything ready because it's, dinner time and bedtime. So this will actually kind of be better for my family schedule too, so that I can just kind of do stuff earlier in the day and then like kind of spend time with them. His name is Edward. Oh my God. Do you know what I think of when I think of Edward as those terrible vampire movies? They're really bad. I don't know what they are. The books are better. The books are still really bad, but like I sort of, once I start a series of books, I like have to finish them, even if they have to be really god awful to not finish. But it was like, I was also reading them when I had an hour and a half commute between the PATH train and then all like the subways up to get to Upper Manhattan from Hoboken. And like, so I would bring, because I didn't have a Kindle for a long, Kindles weren't, I would bring 4 huge books. So at least I had a choice because I was commuting for 3 hours round trip every day. Oh yeah. Twilight. Worst. Read all the books, carried those heavy bastards with me to work every day. But, sorry to sidetrack today. I can't I don't even think, I think the first movie, I think I forwarded through most of it. I was like, and my husband gives me he's like, oh, these movies. I'm like, I've never even watched them. They were awful, just awful. Okay. Okay. So let's figure out why I've been thinking about Edward. So I'm asking there's usually when that happens, there's these possibilities of you still have this psychic cord, the psychic connection, and you're connected to them. And so when events happen in their life, they sort of will pop in certain ways, or when they think about you, they will pop up in your mind. But I don't feel like it's that. I actually am leaning more towards it being you healing a lot of these old belief systems, like things that happened in those relationships that led to like unhealthy patterns, where those are sort of like starting to kind of leave and you're starting to become conscious of them. Like, why did those things happen? And it's like when you're posing the question, why do I always date these same people? Your guides are sort of like kind of bringing things up to the surface in different ways to make you have that aha moment of how to like grow and move beyond it. Does that make sense when I say that to you? because it doesn't feel like it's something's happening with him, and so you're making that connection. And then general message. Okay. Y'all don't text me when I'm doing this. No. This is ridiculous. Okay, for real. So I'm telling you now, go to my website and sign up to be on my email list. You will only get one email a week. I try to save all information, all announcements, everything else for that one email a week because I hate when people spam me. Like, hey, look at my new product. I don't fucking care about your new product. Just like send one thing. Let's streamline this shit as quickly as possible. So sign up for it because I will send you all the links for all of this stuff. You can pay for your reading early. In fact, what I'm going to do when I go to the earlier time, I'm going to send them out on Saturdays instead of on Sundays. Because now I have somebody who's asking me for a link right now while I'm live because I want to watch, because I don't have my question. I just want to watch. So I'm trying to do this the quickest way possible. And it just feels like, so out of respect for me and for your fellow subscribers, if you would kindly do that, I won't spam you. I'm not selling anybody information. I'm not making money. I mean, I'm making money off of this, but I mean, like, I'm not making money from YouTube on this because y'all don't have enough subscribers yet. So just do that, and it'll keep everything. She found me. It'll keep everything easier for everybody else. Okay, so general for EF. This is weird, but I actually feel like I keep hearing like a squeaky, like, when you have like a small towel bar, like one of those really small ones, and it's like it needs WD-40. It's like squeaky, but there's like no towels on it. I don't know why they're showing me that, but I just keep hearing this like squeaky, annoying noise. But I heard along with it, you're getting the hang of it. Like, I feel like you're getting your footing, you're getting the hang of work. Do you lean towards having anxiety, Emily? I don't know if we've talked about this, but it's just that feeling of like where they're saying you're creating anxiety, and it's almost like you've had so much anxiety your whole life. Like, once you feel solid in somewhere else, like you find another area to feel unsure of or worry about. And it's not because they're like I don't want to say like you're consciously creating it, because it's not like a choice per se. Like, nobody would say anxiety is a choice, right? Like, who the fuck wants to feel terrible? But the sense is that it comes up somewhere else, and the worry and the whatever, the dread feeling comes up somewhere else, because they're saying like you've had it for so long, your body and spirit, soul, whatever, is so used to it, it creates more of it because that's comfortable. You know how some people will stay in like a really shitty relationship or a really shitty job or whatever, not because they're happy, but because the thought of change is scarier than the thought of staying there. And it's like the thought of like, what is it like if I'm happy and content going to be like? So it's like creating it. So they're sort of saying like, become conscious of those moments. And like, my daughter tends to lean towards being, one of my daughters tends, I say one, but one of them tends to being more vocally anxious, right? So she talks about these fears a lot, which is fine. I'd rather Like it's, I don't worry as much about my vocal kid as I do about my kid that tends to internalize a lot. But she vocalizes a lot. And so I always say to her when she goes anxious, I'm like, okay, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? And that's where I always go with it. I do it with my best friend. What's the worst that's going to happen? Go there. And usually it's like, well, nothing. Like my daughter, she's at the age, middle one, where like all her teeth are getting loose and her baby teeth are falling out. And one got pretty loose the other night, and she was like, "Oh, mom, what if it hurts?" Like, "Oh, does it hurt right now?" No. I'm like, "Okay, you're okay." Well, what if it hurts? Like, well, it might hurt for a minute. And it's like, "Oh my god!" And like she's like brushing her teeth, and goes, "Just like it's okay. What's the worst thing that's gonna happen when you brush your teeth? It's gonna fall out." I go, "Well, you want to fall out?" Yeah. I go, "Then you don't have to worry. Like, go to the worst thing possible." Um, but it just feels like you create a lot of it. So people who get bored when they're happy and content or feel like it's because they grew up and they were taught that chaos was the norm. You have to retrain your brain. And I say this because I grew up in a very chaotic home as a child, where when I had calm and things were okay, I was like, when's the shit gonna hit the fan? And so then I sat in like this dread mode instead of being able to enjoy the calm. And you kind of have to retrain that part of you. Sometimes it's therapy, sometimes it's just doing the self work of being like, okay, I'm okay. Everybody's safe. We're okay. Nothing's gonna happen. It's okay to enjoy life. Especially as an adult now that you don't have to have, you can make more choices. You have more control about the chaos around you. And I know that that can help a lot of you listening. So you aren't alone. Even when I had a conversation with a family member about different craziness in my family, and then I was talking about some of the stuff with. I can't really like. I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to divulge, and I just think that it's not my story to tell, even though it affects me. um, but she's like, is everybody's family like, is everybody, she's like learning that, like stuff with her husband's family and then talking to friends. And I was like, well, we sort of have never really focused on mental health as a part of like need. And so that you have a lot of people forever who were taught to stuff feelings, not feel feelings, and just like shut up and take it. And, like all kinds of stuff. So we have a lot of mentally ill people. And it doesn't mean everybody's crazy, but like you have a lot of people who don't know how to cope or function or feel or know what their feelings are. So be gentle with yourself when you're like, why am I like this, or why is everything this way, or oh, this was my childhood. Like you're not alone. And we all can make the choice to elevate and heal that part of us too. We didn't all, antibiotics were created and medicine really advanced and evolved for the physical part of us. And it's just really lagging in the mental health area, and it will catch up eventually. So, but be kind to the process. Matt Severs, Linda Drost, Penny Lane, you're up. Lumi, Nicole. I'm just starting to call. Let's get some people in here. So my thought is that I do believe in astrology, not astrology, and the planets sort of like having a major effect. But I also try not to give too much credence to the idea that this is a more powerful time to manifest, because I think you can manifest the shit out of anything, anytime. I'm in the early stages of starting a new entrepreneurial venture, creating a new beverage brand. Are there any watch outs you see or words of wisdoms to guide me? So this seems like a weird thing, but I feel like, how sometimes you'll see like a little circle, like with like, I don't know if it's like I'm gonna go grab something and see what I can figure out it is. If it's like either like where you say something is certified some way, or it's kosher, or like if, when they had it like Glatt kosher or whatever, all those like little different, I don't know, all the different parv, all of the different things, but it feels like whatever you do with this drink, it's not the branding, it's not getting the manufacturing up and going, it's not labeling or whatever. It's going to be this like weird little certification thing where it's like, that's the long process. Like to get this little thing put on there, that's where it feels like it's going to get held up and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was so much and it was so involved, and like you had to jump through so many different hoops, and it feels like filling out paperwork and sending it and then like coming it back and be like, oh, it's like, yes, but this wasn't done quite right. Like it feels like there's a lot of back and forth with this little bitty tiny circle on the can or whatever it is, bottle, whatever. Like you'll see the label and it's like there's this little circle on it. Like that's what it feels like. I don't understand it, but it feels like getting that settled, that seems so small, and you'd think like you don't even think about when you look at the product most of the time when you're looking at it, because you're looking at the brand of it or the ingredients, like you notice that, but you don't notice this little, like your eye just skips over it. This little thing is the thing that's going to be the biggest pain in the ass for you. But it does get up and running, but you're just like, it's going to give you the biggest headache. As far as people, I feel like everything falls into place like dominoes, and it just works really well. Like it's like, wow, I didn't think it could go this easy, and then you're going to get that little stupid little, and it's going to drive you, like you're going to be like, I fucking, and it's going to be a thing. It literally feels like the thing that you're like, I never even noticed that. Like, hi, Georgia Peach. Does that make sense when I say that? Because I don't understand. Like to me, it's like this little tiny thing that nobody really ever notices. That's like, maybe it doesn't feel like the trademark because it feels bigger than that. Like it doesn't feel like the TM. It feels like just a little bit like, not the size of a dime. Smaller than that, but bigger than a trademark. Yeah, it's not smaller than trademark. I mean, it's bigger than a trademark. It's like when you look at, I don't know, do y'all have a kosher aisle where you live? I live in an area that has a lot of is a larger Jewish community. So like our grocery stores are get ready for Passover. And if you go in and look at, it's like, it feels just a little bit bigger, or like, that sign, it's not quite as big as this square on like no GMO thing. I don't know what it is, but it's just like this small thing that you wouldn't have noticed. Like that's the thing is like, you wouldn't notice it on all of these kinds of things, but it's there and it's really important. And that's the thing that's going to hold up the process. But I feel like as far as lining up everybody and getting like good people and like the right people, like connected, and the people that really want to move it forward, it feels like that just flies and falls into place really beautifully. Like it's a necessary certification, and not necessary for you to produce the drink, but it feels like in order to market it the way you want to market it, it feels like it's important to have. And I don't know why, because I don't know what kind of drink this is, but it just feels like whatever it is, this is like important to the product because of the way you want to market it, like the niche you want for it or want it to be in. Yeah, I think that's the way I want to say it. Every time I see the Penny Lane, I think I hear the little Beatles tune in my head. Penny Lane. Sorry. Oh, that'd be great. I'll take samples. My 4-year-old like loves seltzer. Loves it. And so it's funny, like we'll drink seltzer together and she'll be like, ooh, we share, sharing is caring. So like I never get anything to myself. But it's like so I like just say no to that. Like you can't. Like she's so fucking cute. And she knows it. She was doing something, I was snuggling her tonight before bed, and she's like, I'm the cutest. So maybe that's what the little certification thing is, the whatever. We'll call it the, because I don't know exactly what it is. Yeah, something like that, Emily. It could be, but it may even, I know it's weird, but like, I don't know why I keep coming up with the kosher thing, but for some reason, I feel like that might be part of your market. So it might be like, so Lipton they have their matzo ball, they have their parv, whatever. So some of their stuff is labeled a certain way, and it's labeled a different way in the different section of the store. Like they're sold separately, and so it may be that like you have an offshoot that does this one thing, and an offshoot that does like this for another, but it's like the same thing. I don't know. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna do. I just want to go up and make sure I'm. Nicole says we're having a meeting this Wednesday to have my house approved for 3 family. Will it go in our favor to start renting the apartments next month? Absolutely. So, yeah, no problem. Do you have a dog? Because I keep hearing like dog paws on wood floors. You know how like if you have a short dog, sometimes you get the collar drag, like the like that's kind of the sound I'm hearing. Heads up, bunnies are really quiet, by the way, and now like she starts to follow us around now, and we have to like really watch where we're walking. And my girlfriend said, like, you could put a bell on her. And I was like, no, she cleans herself so much. I think that would be really annoying to her. And also, like, she cleans herself all the time. We joke that she's like, I'm filthy again. Linda says, Arjun reached out to me a couple of days ago. Is he ready to put action behind words? Not yet. It's still going to be a couple weeks. Like, I feel like even with the reaching out, it was like, it's like when I see the people in the rooms that say like, my SP reached out, but he told me he totally didn't want anything to do with me anymore. And everybody's like, just keep persisting. So it feels like, like you just like sort of just like play it cool. Because I feel like it's like that kind of wishy-washy thing. And I feel like within the next couple of weeks, it'll kind of move forward, but it's not like exactly what, like, he's not like, let I just heard that. What is that, Barry White? Let's get it on. Yeah. I hear like obviously I hear like random, I like music a lot, and I hear random like songs like in my head a lot. That was for Linda. All right. Lumi Rodriguez. So 3 years ago I met and began dating Omri. I'm just gonna call him Omri. I left the relationship about 8 months into it, and we saw each other and still talk like months after. I feel a strong connection to him, and this past year he's reached out several times. Then I came to find out that he got married in the summer, but when it happened, I had been feeling so strongly to reach out without knowing. Okay, so without knowing, you felt a connection. My question is, what is his purpose in my life, or what's our connection really about? Because together it didn't seem like that's it. It's about your growth. It's not even really about him, because I don't think he really is evolved enough. But I think it's about you learning to develop a strength within yourself and learning to like set boundaries and have a healthy sense of self. And he's just sort of reflecting this or being that thing, help you create that within yourself. Sometimes we have to be this in like spiritual things, like they were really total pieces of shit to you to because they really love you, like which you're like, fuck. Like so like I've been told like one of a family member and I like was it is so horrible to me because she really loves me and in spirit sense and like she's doing this to help me be a better person. I'm like so human form of me is like, you can take that shit and go fuck yourself. Pardon my English, or yes, because I don't want to say French anymore because I don't want to give everybody that. but like that's how you feel when I'm saying this to you, I understand what that sounds like, but it's literally like it's this experience is to help push you into like finding a better sense of self and kind of going like, I don't really need that. And they're like, and there's also to understand that there is this psychic connection. So sometimes some things happen it's really about like our own learning about our intuitive thing. So I had a dream the other night and it was to show me, it was actually early this morning. And it was funny because it happened around the time that my coach would have been running because he had made a comment that he was going to be running up this like crazy street that's in our town. And I was like, because it's like insane to try and run this hill. And because we live in like it's a mountain reservation. So like there's like, it's not like, mountains like you would think of, but yeah, they're pretty big hills. And but when this morning, like when he was I was sleeping and I dreamt about it. It's like it was weird, but it's to teach us about our own psychic connections that we have. And I like another event that I had like through a dream was about 2 weeks before J-Lo and Ben Affleck had broken up. I had a dream that they were both calling me. I like had one on each ear, and I don't think his mom really liked her very much. But like the struggle, like it wasn't that they didn't love each other. It was just trying to find that connection. It was a struggle. And then like 2 weeks later it announced. So it's like we have these connections. And a lot of people aren't aware of them because you're like, oh, it's just a dream or it's just a feeling like, it's just a coincidence, but there is no coincidence. So it's like learning about yourself and finding your boundaries and like growing in your own sense of self. People say self-awareness, right? Developing confidence in who you are and kind of owning it and being cool with it. And he's sort of that catalyst to help you find that. Have a good week, Nicole. You're welcome. You're welcome, Matt. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you, Lumi. I hope it does. Okay, and then I need to go back up. And I think now it's Miss Penny Lane. Thank you for your patience, Miss Penny Lane. Certainly. Okay. And then while I'm doing this, if Emily M and Eva and Devery want to get their questions ready. Will me and can I get a first name? Is that kind of you? Would you handle that? Ever be together? Had a crush on him for over 2 years. So this is not the psychic part of it. I think you will actually. But the non-psychic part of this is I don't need his first name. Forget it. You can retract it if you want. The non-psychic part of it is then manifesting it. So taking him off of a pedestal. Listen to me when I say this to you. I have taken care of famous people as a nurse or their kids. Everybody has to shit. Everybody has to wipe their ass at a point. Like, and I'm sorry to be crude about it, but like everybody, it's just a job that people do. It's just like everybody is they're just people. We all breathe. We all need to breathe to sustain life. Their air isn't more fancier than your air. Okay. It's not made with gold. Maybe Donald Trump's is. He'd probably say it is, but it's not any fancier. Okay. So like, he's just a guy that you have a crush on and you are totally worthy of it. In fact, It's like the whole idea is to like believe that like he needs to chase after you because you're amazing. It's like building up your belief in who you are. Um, when you move to like manifestation, the way I believe it is more about assuming, just assuming that it is and it is, right? It's the law of assumption. Then there's the law of attraction, the idea that like attracts like. So if you are if you want somebody who's financially stable and physically fit and who's like really driven in life, then you can't be a lazy piece of shit that sits on the couch and like eats bonbons all the time and never wants to clean because like that's just too much. And when I marry rich, I'll have somebody who cleans my house. Like that shit's not going to happen because you're not like you aren't going to be attractive to that person because that person's going to be like I don't have time for that. Like this is who I am. Like that's not attractive to me. It's not to say that you aren't an attractive being or you aren't an attractive soul, but if you want one thing, you need to like sort of like move into that. So that's what law of attraction is. I don't think that I believe more in like the law of assumption. So assuming that you're worthy of him. He of course he likes you. Why wouldn't he like you? The other idea is like when people are like if you don't like who you are and you don't want to hang out by yourself, why do you think somebody else is going to want to hang out with you? Like because you can be in a marriage or a relationship or whatever and be completely unhappy. You can have that partner and be completely lonely. It doesn't, if you don't find that solid base before you're in that relationship, the honeymoon phase is going to go away. All of those like little like get to know you. If you aren't solid in who you are, you don't form a genuine connection, and that goes away. The fun stuff goes away, and you're left feeling alone and incomplete and trying to like you got to find that. So own yourself and be the badass that you are, and know you're the badass that you are. Do the I ams, listen to the I like really like Roxy Talks affirmations. She's got all because she says them as I am, and so it's like in your and also I think it's really there's something to be said for a woman kind of helping to empower another woman versus I'm not going to say his channel, but it's a very popular channel, and he writes a lot of what do you call them? Subliminal messages. It's basically the affirmations, like with 15 different people saying them over and over, and you sort of like, but it's coming from the perspective of a man of trying to encourage a woman to be, feel good about herself. And it was like, have an hourglass figure. Well, I don't know a lot of women who go, I want to have an hourglass figure. I see them be like, I want to be fit. I want to be toned. I don't want to be, and it's like, so it's from a dude's perspective. So I think it's really nice for you to like, that's why I like Roxy Talks, because it's like from a woman's perspective, and you're a woman. So not that I'm knocking on dudes, but there are some men that are a little bit more advanced and evolved. But this particular thing, I was kind of like, like the messages, because I listened to one of them because I was like, then I was like trying to like listen to one of the voices and see what it was saying, and listen to another part of it, like where you isolate them, and you can isolate in your head the different things, and the messages were pretty good for the most part, but I just thought like the getcha thing was so like just didn't feel very feminism type energy. It felt very patriarchal and misogynistic. And that's why I'm not naming him. But he's very successful. Who's your professor? Okay, so part of that then, like thinking like I can't get him because he's so much above me because he's this. You got to flip that script, right? He's just a dude, has a job, goes to the bathroom, wipes his butt, like all of those things. Remember, eventually he's going to fart and burp around you too. Like it's like take him off the pedestal. He's just a dude. There you go. And then while you're going, I know he's mine, go to, I am worthy. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am interesting. I'm funny. I'm whatever. I'm successful. Like all of these things. So that like, because eventually, even if you don't believe whatever, eventually it gets like where you're like, I am those things. Like I am a good person. I am worth being loved. I am lovable. I am kind. All of those things. It all comes to you. Doesn't matter if he knows if he likes you. You can do the manifesting of like, he's thinking about me all the time. He's attracted to me. Don't worry about all of the, does he notice? Does he like, you don't have to worry about that. If you manifest something and you really believe in it, even if you go like Reddit has some really great Neville Goddard things, and people are like, you don't have to worry about that. It's just happening. It's there. It's like, you don't have to worry about the details. Somebody wrote something kind of interesting, like about how you don't have free will. And I sort of understood where he was coming from a philosophical standpoint. I don't fully agree with it, but I understood where he was coming from. And it's sort of like, once you put the manifestation out there, the universe like basically puts you in a robot mode so that you're doing everything that you have to do in order for that to happen. So you don't have to worry about whether or not he even notices you. It'll just all fall into play perfectly. He doesn't need to know if you like him because he likes you, right? That's like sort of the way it works. Like it doesn't matter at all. It all works out. It could be, but I also think that like Allie, so Allie said, I think I read somewhere that when you like someone, it's because you would like to have the qualities that they have. I think that that's part of it. Sometimes some people like somebody who's not really in reach because they're not fully emotionally ready to jump in and be in a relationship. There's that too. You pick somebody who's not really fully available. Like a lot of people will pick somebody that's, in a relationship or that lives way, way, way far away. Now, in manifesting, that doesn't really matter, but in people who aren't conscious of the ability, because once I think know about manifesting and start to like study it, and by study I say practice into practice and learning, and the more you practice something, the better you get at it, right? So when you put it into practice, then you no longer have the ability to go like that, like I just have no control. So I think that there's a lot to it, and I think sometimes I think things are simpler than we make them. And I also think that we oversimplify things because our human brain can't fully wrap around like all of it, like the bigger stuff. So Emily M, Eva, Devry, you're up. Can we make sure we close the list? I don't know if we did that yet, but thank you, KK. No one else has signed up, so yay. So Emily. Hi, Cindy. Yes, oh, you wanted to confirm that the office I visited this weekend is when I'll be. I feel like yes, Cindy, absolutely. And Cindy's taken care of. Don't worry, KK. Oh, KK, for you, I felt like so I feel like April. Like I feel like it's very, very quick. So if it's not there's something about April, and I don't remember what this is. I should have emailed you when it came in, because that's the problem when you get stuff. If you don't email it or scribble it down right away, it fucking flies out of your head. I keep getting big April 1st right now, but I don't know if that's what it is. But I feel like you'll know very, very soon. You're going to get it very, very soon and get the confirmation very soon. It actually felt like to me that it wasn't that the paperwork was held up or the COVID stuff. I actually felt like somebody was on an extended leave. General for the next month. Emily. I feel like this is the one. Absolutely, Cindy. Family, just general. That would be an amazing birthday gift. Did you? Hang on. We have been. Oh, y'all have been. You're in Toronto, right? Okay, sorry, Deborah. Or sorry, I'm on Emily. So I felt a headache, but then this is like really weird, and I don't know, and I feel a little dizzy. Have you been having vertigo? The other weird thing I saw is because I saw this image of almost a cartoon character, like, and wearing like a little mask, and I kept thinking of like a bandit, a raccoon. Do you have like a raccoon issue at your house? I don't know what this is. Like a bandit thief. But have you been getting a lot of vertigo? Sorry, I'm just hearing a weird song. But like just the chorus of it. I don't need to keep singing to y'all tonight. So there may be either a raccoon issue that comes up. This sounds weird, or make sure your car doors are locked. Because it feels like only going around, like they typically only like go around and start checking car doors. Not that I think this is the big message, but the vertigo may come up for you, and it feels like an easy fix. It doesn't feel like, so it may be like how you some people have we all have these little crystals in our ears, and if they kind of get just out of place, like you develop vertigo, and it's a matter of just doing like a maneuver with your head and I don't know exactly what it is, but it's just like an easy maneuver. There's YouTube videos on it. And if like an easy fix, that might be something that comes up for you. Otherwise, health-wise, I feel okay. And work-wise, it just feels like status quo. I'm still doing the same thing. We're okay. And it just feels like sort of like staying the course. I do feel like sales picking up. So have you started a little Etsy store, or like started posting on Facebook or whatever that you're selling things? I feel like by the end of the month into April, like sales starting to pick up. And maybe it's related around Easter, like having cutesy little Easter things. Okay. Well, when you set your shop up, if you want to advertise here, by all means. I know people have grandbabies and children and all of that stuff. So I would be happy to help support you. Eva, Debbie, Ellen R., you guys are up. You've been crazy about locking your car doors lately. So maybe that's what that is, like that being intuitive that somebody's gonna like be coming around. So Jeffrey, I know that this isn't like maybe what you want to hear, but it is like I think it's great. I feel like coming out of the funk, like you're kind of like rising up from it. It's like you're starting to feel like that fresh feeling again, like I can move through this, I can get through this. And to me, that's huge. Like you've kind of come through the slump and you're starting to get better. And it's like you've been doing the work, you've been like persisting, and it just feels like coming out of the funk of that energy. Does that resonate? You're welcome, Emily. That's the one thing is the time lag here where there's like I wish this was more, not like not the delay time. Stanley's over there hanging out. He seems to never get tired. Just full of energy. My bunny groomed him. Right there. She groomed him on his hair. Devery, does that make sense when I'm saying that? Are you still here? Did you go away? Eva is Oh, Eva says, what do I need to know from my guides about my healing and getting back in touch with myself? It's sort of just that moment of like, when you're first starting to do a lot of the healing work, you're like go over in your head a lot, and it's like, why did this stuff happen? Or I'm this way, and this is really hard, and like I know I need to heal, but you're it's like still kind of struggling, and it's like that needing to have that last moment of going, all right, I'm done with this. Like fuck this, I'm moving on. I need to like, and then like stepping into changing that belief system of like, uh, yeah, it's shitty what happened to me, and yeah, it doesn't like me deciding to move forward and getting rid of the anger doesn't mean that I'm no longer like I'm just okay with what happened. It's like I'm no longer going to like allow that to control me anymore. It's like, and I feel like you're like literally right on that moment. So it's not like, and then also to remember that like healing and the healing from trauma is such a process. Like it's not this, okay, I'm done. There's a time frame and it's gone. It's a process. And so you have to be like really gentle and kind with yourself through it and know that like you may always have triggers. So if you have certain traumas, certain things may always sort of like be there. I have triggers that will always be there. I'm pretty sure. I'll be amazed if they're not. But it's being gentler and kinder and then recognizing that I don't go off the deep end anymore, like of like not being able to handle things. It's like I process it easier. That's a big part of knowing that you're healing, right? And so part of like when things resurface, it's not because so it's like when you're doing healing and I'm sure you've heard this before, it's like peeling an onion. It's still an onion as you peel through it. Like you're still gonna have things resurface. And then also remember just being human is just about healing. Like we're constantly healing. There's not just one thing that happens and then it's like, oh, figured that out. Like now I'm good. Let's go on. Like everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you live in a dream. It's just not like that. And I think that's I think because we haven't really ever fully addressed mental health until recently, that like most people don't really understand that. It's a process. So instead of getting down like, oh, I thought I got past that, just go, okay, so this is still here, but I'm not like as bad as I used to be there. So like honor the growth, honor the healing that has occurred instead of getting down that something else resurfaces. Um, when you are taught a belief system that you're not good enough, right? Or that you aren't allowed, you don't deserve to have boundaries, or, no matter what you do, you're still a total piece of shit. It takes a really long time to believe that you're not, to really know and believe that you're a good person. And it's not somebody just like to trust that when someone says it, or that when you say it to yourself, that it is real. And you do question for a long time, like, and it does go back and forth. You'll get to a point where it's better. It's just a process, and it sort of comes up to heal in layers, because if you did it all at once, I just think it's the way the human experience is. Like, it just, their subconscious doesn't believe it until it's like over and over and over to reprogram it. And sometimes those traumas are just real big. Alan, let me see if I have your question. I don't see it. Do you mind repeating it? I would really appreciate. Oh, you typed it in PayPal. Do you mind? I tend to just prefer the questions on the live, unless there's some reason it needs to be super private. If you could just type it here, it would be really great. You're welcome, Eva. It's hard. And so then there's the whole manifesting idea that if you believe something is, then it is. So if you continually just say it's tough to move on, then it will always be tough to move on. So maybe you could put it in. So when you're manifesting, there's an I remember version. So like, I remember when I had a really hard time healing from this, but it's so good that I'm healed now. Start creating that story in the I am form as if it's already happened. And maybe it'll help you move kind of past the road, this little, because it doesn't feel like it's a mountain. It feels like a speed bump to me. So it doesn't feel huge. It feels like it's not going to be that hard to get over. It's just sort of flipping the script and deciding it's time to do it and move forward. Sometimes too, when we've been through a lot of trauma and we've held on to it for a long time, I sort of said this before, it's like, it's the same thing as like, it's easier to stay in the muck than it is, because it's like, well, what if I'm healed? What does that mean then? Or does something else come up? Like, you're always like on guard. So it's sort of like, it's become so comfortable and such a part of yourself. What's your new story when you're don't have that anymore? Thank you, Ellen. Perfect. I mean, I went through a lot of healing where it's like, I felt angry when I first started. So I went to therapy weekly for almost 4 years. And towards the end of it, my therapist was like, why are you still seeing me? And I thought, because I like having somebody to talk to and not feel guilty that I'm talking to you for an hour about me. And it was nice. It was like a cathartic, I needed it and I enjoyed it. And so it wasn't like I was processing a lot, but I still, even after I stopped doing therapy, still healing and growing. I'm still finding new, like, like even with the manifesting stuff where I'm like, now that's why I chose that, even though it sucks and it's crappy. Interesting. So it's really kind of a neat, I enjoy the process of it. Like, I think it's fascinating. It's like solving a puzzle. I think it's fantastic to heal. So maybe if you, instead of looking at like when people are like, healing is so hard, it can be hurtful and it can be painful. And it is a process, but it's really fucking fantastic and cool and juicy. And I sort of get now when my therapist would say like the tough stuff is the really juicy stuff. And I sort of understand that now. But I'm also looking back at it. So it feels like you're going to get through it. Just flip it. So you're not, I just lost myself but just flip it a little bit. So it's not tough. Just or it's tough and like don't leave it there where it's so solid and it's tough and I can do hard things. Okay? So it's like don't stop it at that because that means that's what it is. And I can do hard things. Not but and I'm really good at doing hard things. And I'm resilient. So it's tough and I'm resilient, so I'll come through it. Make sure you add the rest of the sentence so it's a better, richer, happier story. I read on one of those. I'll share a lot. I read a lot of these like manifesting things because it's also interesting to me to be like, huh. So like the whole idea that we like you don't have to worry about like what if they're also manifesting it because there's one theory that we're all on our own plane of existence and like we're all in our own story. The other is um like nobody wants the same stuff, right? So like everybody's sort of doing their own thing. But I read this like this woman was like, oh, when I have a hard time because I live with my family and they're really like kind of sucky and um so I'll imagine my SP and that he's like making me feel better. And I thought, well, why are you imagining feeling like shit so that someone else can make you feel better? Like, why don't you already just imagine yourself happy and like just enjoying the fuck out of it? And that's your big fuck you to the family, right? Well, why shouldn't I imagine that? It's too simplified for me, but that's where I'm like, all right, fuck it. You want to imagine the bad stuff? Go for it. Okay. That's not me. So that's where I'm at. Marking one more off the list. So sometimes it's hard to imagine how it would feel like. So when you're manifesting, how it would feel to be in that place. So instead, just like imagine yourself beyond that and be like, remember when I thought it was really hard to heal, and then all of a sudden, just something clicked, and I was able to move past it. You don't have to worry what that something click is. The universe will make that happen, and you'll have your aha moment. I always say, like, if you can't figure out what it would be like to move beyond that and have it as a conversation with somebody or whatever. So then you remove the feeling from it because you don't really have to have the feeling. The feeling intensifies it, but you don't have to have it in order to move, like to manifest the things that you want. So that's that. Alan R. Yours was, what's your new question? Where is it? Oh, what do you see coming up for me in the next couple of months? Is there any way you're planning a trip to Germany? This is really weird because I keep seeing like concentration camps and like stuff around, but like not feeling like I'm researching Hitler, but like meaning like because he's my hero, but feeling like I'm going and seeing these sites and these places. So I'm no longer stuck at home. I really do feel like travel and things are going to start picking up again. I really, really, really do. There's some connection to Germany for this to be coming through with us. So maybe you're going there. Maybe there's a conference. I don't know. There's some weird connection to Germany. This feels so out there for me when I'm saying this, by the way. Like it feels like one of those times where I'm like it literally feels so out of left field for me. And I'm just going with it because I'm getting it. And that's what I've learned to do. Like I'm teaching some people with mentoring, like something may feel weird to say, but just say it because that's what that person needs in order to like whatever. So I don't know. Like it may make sense later. Cause it's just like that's literally what I saw was like not like or maybe it's I don't know if it's like a documentary thing, but like I feel like I'm watching something where they show like an old video clip of him, but they're talking about him. And so, but it feels like I feel very like I'm in a museum, or maybe you're going to DC for the Holocaust Museum. Don't know what this is. It just feels very like something around that. You're planning a trip to DC? Are you not? No? You're not even planning anywhere yet. I don't know what this is. I don't know why this keeps coming up. And they're not showing me anything else. They go to bolster your faith. This is for your faith, not mine. Because they know I'll just spew any old crap that they don't show me anymore. Because this is bound to make sense at some point to you. I promise. Like it may make zero sense right now, but so just hold this and hold a place for this because I feel like this is also about like growing your faith in the connection to something bigger because it still feels like there's a lot of doubt that lingers. And so they're pulling something that's so super random that even you don't know about yet. Um, it feels like it might be like both. So maybe like around business and then um because it doesn't feel just like I'm just planning the trip to go. So it feels like both happen. So like maybe you have a day off or two, or like you're able to extend your trip a little bit in order to do some sightseeing or do something pleasurable, or there's a break in the middle, like I need to be here in this day, and then there's this break, so I get to go do something for myself. Like it doesn't feel like I have friends that travel a lot, like all over the world for work, and they're in meetings all day, so they don't really get to enjoy or sightsee or anything. But it feels like I get to go out and see stuff because I'm seeing museums. I'm not seeing an office building and feeling like I'm there. But I also feel it's a little bit about bolstering faith and connection and understanding that like there is something bigger out there. Do you have a lot of doubt? Some like not a lot of doubt. Obviously, you're here asking me, so it's not complete doubt. But were you questioning a lot? Like, is this real? Or Ali, Shaheen, and Hey, if y'all want to go ahead and start posting your questions, that'd be fantastic. You're the last three. Let's get through this. Let me know. Listen, I'm always excited to find out about everything and how it comes, like, because I'm telling you, I still get really excited when I get the validations. I'm like, seriously? Obviously, I've been doing this a long time. I know it's real, but it's still really freaking fascinating to me. Like, I can't believe I got that. You're working on growing spiritually. So some of this is then to bolster faith and getting more meditation. Okay. So I want to say this about meditation. Don't stress out about it. Don't think that it has to happen in one way or another. I think group meditations are really fantastic for having fantastic experience because you have like a collective energy that happens, and they have them online. You can find them through Zoom. I know a woman, I think she said in an email I got from her that she was going to do online meditations. And she's a woman that I found. She's a Reiki master here in New York City, and I had Reiki on her a couple times, or she did Reiki on me once or twice, I think. And I've done some of her this was years ago, but I've done in-person meditations with her, and I thought energetically, I thought they were great. But I always think group meditations are really fantastic. I've always had the best like visions and connections in group ones. So if you might be a really kind of wonderful experience to look for a Zoom online one. But anyway, my rambling goes to the fact that like I'll try and find if she's doing them. I might link them. I have no affiliation. I get $0 from it. It's just I'm all about sharing people and my giving you guys connections and links to whatever I think has worked well for me. So that's that. She's like pretty airy fairy. Like she would do a lot of the solstice fairy things, and she did big trips to Ireland and all of that. But if she has a group meditation, it might be fun to join. There's other people that do them too. Ali says, will I one day create my own designs? Like I'm an artist in some way. Always try to nurture that inside of me. Yeah, like and subscribe. Why not? I don't know if it's like, I actually lean towards more of there's a writing component to what you're gonna do. There's a creative writing component and I don't know if it's necessarily children's stories, but it feels like short, like but there's drawings and there's artistry with it, but there's also like a writing component. Do you also write? Her name is, by the way, the woman I'm talking about, her name is Raven, like the bird, Raven, Keys, Keyes. You could probably Google her and find stuff on her. She's got curly hair, curly blonde hair. She's a little bit older than I am. So you don't find somebody that looks like young. Hi, homies. Welcome back. Here, I'll type her name here so you can see her name in the comments. I don't have a link for any of her stuff right now, but you could Google her. So Allie, are you a writer? Is there a creative, like, would you ever do a children's book or something like that? Like, it just feels like, or like, I keep seeing, I don't know if it's Chicken Soup for the Soul or something like that, like where it's like having this writing component, but then like having a little artistry around it. Cause I don't know if I feel like, I don't feel like when I think about things that you would design, I don't feel clothing. It feels small. Okay. Okay. So it may be something where that like kind of morphs into like a creative little, like maybe it's a little poem type thing or a little like thought with a drawing. I don't want to say Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy because that's a Saturday Night Live thing, but um, uh, you can look that up. There's one about ham bone. I always thought that was funny. Anyway, so that's what I feel like is something small. Shaheen and Hey, you guys are up. Does anybody remember ham bone? And was it? Oh, I can't think of his name. I think it was, who was the comedian that was killed by his wife? He was so funny. I can always see people's faces in my head. I can like, and names just escape me. I feel like some of you yell at me sometimes, like not literally yelling me in your head. You're like, Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman. I think it was Phil Hartman that did the voice for it because it was always like some like picturesque thing and like it had the words go up and then it would just be him reading it. So it might be something like that where it's connected to that. You're welcome, Allie. Shaheen and Hey, if you guys don't show up soon, I'm gonna go. Cause I'm tired and I'll refund you your money. I don't keep your money. I don't play that game. What I do after this, because I also like sit down and I like update my books and then I make my donation right away so I don't forget to do it. So like I do all that stuff and I still need to write my Stanley. Stanley needs to write a letter to my friend's son's class. There you are. Hey, my question is long, but I'll retype. Thank you. I don't know where it is. Sorry. I appreciate it. Shaheen, are you here or did you forget and fall asleep? It's late. So late. So sometimes it's hard to find things to ramble on about. While I'm waiting, it seems like too, like, the lag time is worse some nights than other. And I don't know if it's on my end or your end or if everybody some people respond pretty quickly and maybe it's your individual. I don't know, what do you think, Stanley? Man, a few words. He's a simple man. Oh, I crack myself up. The stupid things I do in life. I've done a lot of goofy things in the car, just like crack myself up. Hi, spiritual seeker. Thank you for validating that. So share, tell your friends about me. Tell the whole world about me. I'm glad that I was able to pass along a message and I heard it right from them in order to translate it and give it to you. If you care to share, that'd be awesome. But if you don't, I totally respect that too. Okay, I had a dream 2 days ago. I followed a man through the doors from one room to another. At the end, I jumped into the arms of Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. No? Okay, here's what I think. I seriously believe that we do meet people in the ethers, so in our dreams. I really, hands down, think that that happens. Anything's possible. You aren't limited to one space and time. Think about when you have dreams, like especially if you're really active and remember your dreams, think about how many places and things you do in those moments. So yeah, I don't think it's weird. I think why not? I'm reading this again. Um, at all. I think it's completely possible. I just because I've had so many dreams where, like, well, I had one that was really particularly detailed, and then 7 months later, I met this woman. She goes, "I know somebody was with me," and like she literally just verbatim had this experience where she felt someone was with her, and it was a scary experience, and it was literally the dream I had where I would have been in her spot. So yeah, I don't think it's weird. I think it's totally possible. Thank you, spiritual seeker. Yay. Um, No, I think I'm just tired because I was tired before I even started today, so it's okay. It's late, and it's 10 after 10, 10:17 here, so, Shaheen, are you here still? So, no, I don't think it's weird. I've been at in my dreams, been at concerts, and I love, like, when you do outdoor theaters, I love the grass seats. I can't stand the 'cause I like sort of being a little bit further out and not having my ears ring after the show, and I know, you should wear earplugs, but regardless, and I don't know, there's just something nice about sitting on the lawn and enjoying the music from the lawn. So I remember having a dream and, like, Matthew McConaughey, like, turned around. He was like, "Hey, what's going on?" Um, and it was just, like, normal, we're just chatting about the band, but, like, point being, I do think that we connect spiritually with people. I mean, like, will you think they're not having dreams and having experiences? And, I do think that we have dreams and famous or not, that we can connect with people in the ethers. What could it mean? Nothing. I mean, I wish that I could be like, it's this deep philosophical thing, but I think, like, you could potentially have just, like, that would have been the energies that connected at that moment and jumping into his arms. Um, and I'm like, okay, what about more symbolically? Like, he's a big, strong dude, so it's like, we got you on this one. Like, you're jumping into his arms, like you're jumping into safety. You're jumping into like when you're around somebody that big, like, you're not really freaked out about what's gonna happen to you. Like, nobody's gonna jump out and mug you because who is gonna challenge that guy? Nobody's gonna talk shit to you because who's gonna challenge that guy? So it's just that feeling of like you're jumping, whatever it is that you're jumping into, it feels like it's safe. So whatever you feel like you're not jumping off the edge of the cliff, you're jumping into, you're going to be caught, you're safe, you're okay. I know, maybe that's the dreamer in me that's like, no, I think that you meet people all the time in dreams. Like, they're just people. I used to, even one of my friends, somebody I used to be friends with, we're no longer friends, but we would always, okay, I'll see you in the ethers. That's like how we would end our conversations. Like if we were chatting or texting, like, all right, see you in the ethers, going to bed. Like, so yeah, I know I'm not the only person who thinks this, but maybe it's a little out there for some of y'all. That's cool too. I'm okay with being a little weird. They always say keep Austin weird. I could keep on him weird. I think normal's a little boring. Shaheen, are you here? Are you here? All right, lovies. It is late. I am tired. I got Stanley and I got a letter to write and stick some pictures in it. And send it off to a friend. And I want to get up early and work out because I like the torture and the sweat because it's got to put in the work. Got to put in the work if you want to be healthy and you want to be strong and fit. So I got to do that. All right. So I will see y'all next Sunday. Don't forget, it's at 4:00. Screw this late thing anymore. We're gonna start earlier. I will send out the letter. Go to my website and register with my little, whatever, sign up, and then you'll get like all the links and everything for it ahead of time. You can pay early, get on the list early, and you'll be reminded when things are. Have a lovely week. Be safe. This week I may do another manifesting chat. We'll see how it goes. I'll put something together. So keep an eye out for that. I'll try and put like an early heads up on there. Bye, lovies. Have a good week. This is Annalisa, my spiritual friend. KK, thank you. Happy March, y'all.